Hey there, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to another real-time edit. Today I have this Wood Stork from down in Florida. Shot this past, I think, end of February. Um, it was funny. This was one of those where I was able to watch the behavior and predict the shot that was likely to happen, and it worked out perfectly. The bird just followed the pattern exactly how it had multiple times prior to taking the shot. So it had flown up to a tree way off up here, high left, and grabbed the branch, and then I watched it fly right back to the nest. It did that once, or I think maybe even twice. And then I was like, okay, this is a pattern. And sure enough, it took off again, went back up high in that branch, and I told the client I was standing with, I said, listen, watch this bird up here, get ready. It's going to fly down, arc right in front of us into this beautiful golden light. The sun was setting behind us, and I know we would get a flight shot. So sure enough, just like I predicted, which feels great when you do that, you suggest something like this, and then the bird actually does what you say. It makes it feel pretty good. But it was really cool. The wood stork swooped right down, flew right in front of us, and I was able to get this shot, which came out really good. But I think it does need a little tweaking. So this is straight out of camera here. So first things first, let's do a little bit of, whoops. Hang on, got to turn on. There we go. All right, a little bit of lightning. I'm going to kick the shadows up so I can get more detail in there. And then bring the blacks back down just to maintain that contrast. I'm going to warm it up just a little bit more because this is what happens. This happens all the time on, I think, most digital images, but especially on Nikon. The blues and the shadows are just always so oversaturated, and I don't reduce them all the way because it looks kind of weird without any color there, but I definitely back off the blues as long as there's no other blue in the image. If there was, I would do it selectively in Photoshop. So anyway, that seems pretty good. Let me just change my view here. There we go. And I think this is a good starting point, right? So really light, almost white there, but nothing blown out. And I think it's a good time to take it into Photoshop. I love that you can really see some of the iridescence on the wings of these birds, which is pretty cool. And I do wish this back wing wasn't intersecting the head. Like it was just a little bit higher, or if the head was a little bit lower there, that separation would have been nice. But, hey, can't complain at all. It's really cool to get this behavior, bird in flight A, and then B with it bringing nesting material back is really neat. So just waiting for Photoshop. There we go. I don't really have a lot to clone in here other than just that branch back there. I'm just going to kind of soften it up. So just some real light cloning over that to kind of break up that pattern. And just this one light corner, I don't mind it on the top right, but up there for whatever reason it was bugging me. I don't mind seeing the blue through there, so that's good. Gosh, not a lot else to do. I'm gonna do a little bit of lightning, and then I think I'll enhance the iridescence here. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty cool, right? Really see those wingtips. Look at the feathers just curling up with the fly. Oh, look at that. That's the shadow off the curved primary feathers there. Pretty neat. Cool. Let's see the iridescence there. Really enhance the golden light in the wing underneath there. Oops. Just want to show detail where I can really see it here. So put a little bit more detail in the head, make that catch light stand out a little bit more. I want to show the horizon of the sky in there. There we go, right? All right, so that made the white actual sun just a little bit too bright. So I'll back off my lightning in there. There we go. And then I guess I'll leave these lighter spots back here, but I'm just going to darken them so they're not quite as eye-catching. And then maybe I'll do some of the same up in this top corner because it is kind of, I don't mind it, but it is pulling my eye a little bit. So I think there we go. And I'm just going to do a little warming on the back of the bird to try and alleviate some of that blue again because it's still kind of strong there. But I don't think I want to desaturate it and just make it go gray. Let me take some of the red out of that. Yeah, it's still a little funky. Let me get rid of some of that. So hue and saturation adjustment layer. There we go. That cleans it up. I'll just paint it across, especially the top there was getting a little funky. And there we go. One last thing I'll do, I'll just hop back to my Dodge layer. I really like their pink toes. Well, by I mean I find them interesting. They're kind of creepy looking too, but I'll just accentuate that because the light was hitting part of them, and just let that stand out a little bit more in the image, you know. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try a color layer here. Just sample some of that color and see what happens. It doesn't look right if I paint it in on the white. All right, I'll just leave it as is. Just let that go a little bit bluer there. Let's see what else. I think that's about it for this one. The bird doesn't stand out from the background quite as much as I would like, just because I guess the tones are kind of the same value there. But I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot I can do. I mean, I could really get selective and darken the background separate from the bird just to make everything stand out. And so I'll do a rough job of that just to show you what that would look like. But I don't know that it's really going to pay off in the end, you know? Like, so if I were to get in and get real selective, right, and cut out and mask all of this, which is really time consuming, the way I'm going to do it right now, you're going to see like weird halos and overlaps on it. But just to give you an idea, right, so if I were to do that and just take this whole background darker, like the whole thing, let's paint that in real quick. I think the bird would stand out more. Yeah, not really though. See, that's the thing, right? It just kind of still blends in. I mean, maybe I need to go lighter with the background to make the bird stand out. Yeah, that actually does help, you know? So I was thinking the wrong way. A lighter background, see that? That was original. Lighter background actually makes it stand out a little bit more. So, you know, that's one way to do it. If I go subtle enough here, I can actually use that selection I just painted in, because you're not really going to see those halos because it's such a subtle adjustment, and I did it kind of wide. So yeah, there we go. I kind of like that. So I'm going to leave that. Just it lightened the bottom a little bit too much here, so I'll bring that back to original, and there, I'll save that. Interesting. Sometimes playing around with an image gets you somewhere where you didn't think it would work. You know, I didn't really think that was going to make much of a difference, but turns out I liked it. All right, so real quick, I'll show you the comparison between the original and this one. Let's reset that. Oh, yeah, that. So, you know, normally I would say this original exposure was too dark, but look what would happen. If I had exposed it much lighter than that, I would have blown out these whites, you know? And so for me, this is how I like to expose an image. I like to expose for the highlights, and then I can lighten it and get all this, I mean, all this detail down here you can still see is in the original image. But yeah, this definitely looks better. Bird stands out more, and I really like how this one turned out. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and hope you learned something from this.